Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Code with Nabil. This is the continuation series of my microservices with Spring Boot, and in this video we'll be diving deep into the implementation part. So without further ado, let's get started. So before starting with implementation, I want to just clear out the entire architecture we're going to follow for our services. So as you can see here that we'll have our request from the outer world clients, and the request will first go to the controller layer. The controller layer here will be just be responsible for redirecting the request to the service layer. This is the layer, service layer is the layer where we will perform our business logic or any kind of calculations. And in some services, might have to send some message events to the Kafka queue. So we'll be doing that as well. And since all services will have a database attached to it, we'll also send the database request to a repository layer, which will be talking to the database. So this is going to be a general architecture for all the services. So let's get started with creating our first service. So as you can see here, I've created a new IntelliJ project. I'll be following the monorepo pattern, which I have talked about in my all about microservices video. You can check out that if you haven't watched that video yet. So I'll name this video shopping cart microservices YouTube. Okay. I'll be using Java and Maven, and for the advanced setting, I can write com dot code with Nabil, and this is artifact ID is fine. So let's create this project. I'll create this in a new window, and here you go. As you can see here, we have created a base project, which we can also say a parent POM. In this, we'll be defining all the modules here of all other services, so that we have every services in a single code in a single. I don't have to open multiple IntelliJ projects. I can see all my repository, all my services in the single project. So let's create a new module here. I'll create a new module here. We'll call this one product service. Okay. The group ID is com.code with Nabil. Artifact ID is product service. Let's create this product service. Cool. So now I'll be adding the dependencies I'll be needing for my product service. So for that, I can just jump to the starter spring.io. So let's go over here. I have already added, we need the Lombok dependencies for our boilerplate code. We'll need the Spring Web because we'll be developing REST APIs. In product service, we'll be using the MongoDB. We need the Spring Data MongoDB. So let's see the dependencies here. Okay, we have a parent start Spring Boot starter parent. So what we can do is, since every our services will be having this Spring Boot starter parent, what we can do is we can put this particular parent in a parent POM, which is this one. So I'll just come here and before everything, let me put this after over here only. Let's put it over here. Okay, and then just run dependencies, sync dependencies. Okay, this is done. Now what I can do is uh, I can copy all the dependencies from here till here, and even the build as well. So let me go to my product service and let's just copy and just sync the dependencies and see everything is fine. So cool, everything is fine. I can just format the code as well. Looks perfect to me. So we have installed, let's just understand dependencies. We have a MongoDB dependencies because you're needing that for connecting with the MongoDB. We have a Spring Boot Starter Web, we have a Lombok, and a Spring Boot Starter test dependencies. And I won't you need this source project. I can just delete this directory. Delete. I can just come it here. Okay, I can just come here. I can just create a new package com.code with Nabil. I can just create a new application, product, service, application, and what I can do is I can say PSVM. I can annotate this with Spring Boot application, and I can say mm, Spring application dot run product service application dot class. Okay, so I can just run this application and see everything is working fine or not. So as you can see, we have got a MongoDB exception because we haven't connected to that. But other than that, its application has started up. Okay, cool. So next we can just go and create our file application.yml where we will provide a MongoDB credentials. So for MongoDB credentials, what you can do is let's add our MongoDB credentials here. Let's say Spring application dot name. We can provide this name as product service, and then for the MongoDB, what we can do is Spring data MongoDB. We can just provide directly the URI of our MongoDB. So we can just provide this URI, and this should work fine. Let's say YouTube, just to avoid the another service I've created in the MongoDB. So that's pretty much it. So after setting up the parent project, let's get started with creating the product service application. So let me run the application. Let me just close this and run the application so that I can show you one of the error. So when I try to run the application, you will see that I'll get one of the logs. It's saying that it cannot connect with the MongoDB driver. So in order to fix this, what you have to do is you have to go to the official Mongo image. You have to run this command docker pull mongo. I have done that already. And once you do that, you'll have a Mongo image locally in a Docker repository. And then you have to run this command docker run minus d minus s. You can name your container by any name. I have named this product service Mongo, and then the container will start. So I've already created this container. I'll just start this container. You can see this is container. I'll start this container and I'll rerun my application, and you will see this error is gone. Cool. So we have successfully connected our product service with the MongoDB. So just recapping it, you have to like add your MongoDB URI here. This is the basically database name, and this is the localhost 2027017. All right. So let's get started with creating application. We'll follow the MVC pattern. So let me start creating the packages first of all. So let's start creating the first package. We'll create a model, and then we'll create a repository package. Repository package. We'll have a controller layer. We'll have a controller layer. We'll also have a service layer. And finally, we'll be using DTOs to transfer objects. DTO. Okay, so let's start first with the model. Let me create a product model first. Okay, so since it's the we are using the Mongo repository, so we're using here a document. So let me use, since we're using the MongoDB database, we're using the document annotation, and we're providing the value as the product. Okay, product. And then what we can do is we can provide the column names. So let me provide the column names. Private string IT. We will have product name, private string name. We'll also have a product description, private string description. And finally, we'll have the price as well, big decimal. Okay. So since that we are also using the Lombok dependency, we're making use of that annotation as well. So we can put here all args constructor, no args constructor. We will use the builder pattern as well here. And finally, we'll use a data annotation, which will provide us with the getter and setters. So we are done with creating the model. We can now move to the repository layer. So we'll create a Java interface of product repository, product repository, and this will extends Mongo repository of product type, and the primary key is string. Also, one thing I've missed here, I have to write, since I have to tell the what is the primary key. So I'll add the ID annotation here. All right. So this is done. This class is also done. I can just format it. And now if I can finally move to the controller layer. So let me create a product controller. Uh, since I have to define a bean annotation here, I'll use the REST controller mapping here with request mapping. I'll tell that from where I can access this API. So I'll keep as API slash products. All right. And then I can start with them creating my product create controller and the get all products controller. So let's start with creating the product. So public response entity is basically when you return something from your API call, you put that in the response entity. Since I'll be just creating the product, I'll have to just return it as a void means return nothing. I'll just name it create product, and since I'll be sending some body, so I'll send request body product request. All right. So I'll be creating one class of product request, create class of product request. So I'll be creating this. Can I create this? Okay, I cannot edit it. So let me just do it manually. Product request. Okay, so this is basically the data transfer object class where I'll be telling what I'll be providing in the body. So again, I can use the Lombok dependencies here. All arc constructor, no arc constructor, builder pattern, and data annotation, which will provide the getter and setters. So what I will have to send to my API is private string name. I'll say call it product name, and then I can just copy this product name, product description, and product price. Product name, product description, and product price. Okay, cool. So let me just format this again. So these are the information I'll be sending to my in my API request in the body. So I can just import this here, and finally I can call my service layer product service dot create product, and I can provide this the product request arguments, and finally I can return new response entity with status post status code as http status dot created, because I'm creating a new product here. So let me create a product service here. So I'll just come here, I'll say private product product service product service. I auto wired it so that this bean can be available when I'm calling this, and I'll just go in my service package and I'll create a product service now. Product service. This is where I'll create my business logic. I'll tell how product is actually created. So I'll just annotate this with the service layer, and here I'll be creating a method public void void create product. I can just what I can do is I can just come here, I can import this, and I can create method directly here. I can just remove this thing. Okay, create product. It will accept the product request arguments, and then what I can do is I can create a product model, product, new product is equals to dot product dot builder, and then I can tell the what I'm going to send here. I'm going to send name here from the product request, so I get product name dot description product request dot get product description, and finally I'll be getting the price as well. Product request dot get product price, and then I can call the build method so that this object can be built. All right. Product request and got product price. I have to change this to bit decimal so that the types are same. Okay. And finally, what I can do is I can call product repository. I have to also uh, import my product repository here, private product repository, and product repository. Here I'm going to use the constructor based injection so that I can don't have to like auto-add it. So I'll call here. I'll use the annotation require args constructor so that constructor is created automatically when this class is instantiated. And I'll call product repository dot save method with the new product. This will save my new product in the database. And finally, I can also log this once the product is created. So I'll for the logging purposes, I'll be using the SLF4j login library with that annotation, and I can just do log.info product with ID was created. Okay, and then I can provide a product new product dot get ID. Okay, we can now test this route. Everything is completed from here. Let me go to the postman. Oh, okay. So I can just since I'm sending the request to API slash products. So and my application is running. Let me run the application. My application is running in port 8080. So here's my application. It says API slash products. I'll provide in the body JSON. Okay. I'll also let me show you my MongoDB database as well. I'll reload it, and you see there's nothing as of now. Let me hit my URL endpoint. Okay. API slash products not found. Let me see what's the issue. Mm, let me see if there is any issue here. Slash API request mapping. Let me rerun the application because it will not find what I have done. And then let me see. Okay. API regulated product. Still it is complaining it cannot find the path API slash products. Why it is happening? Product controller, request mapping, test controller. Oh, okay. Right. I forgot to provide here. Let me remove this. Which mapping I'm doing. So I have to provide here post mapping. So yeah, I just forgot that. I have to do that. I have to tell which what SADB method I'm calling for this method. The post mapping, and here is the post mapping here. And now I can run this application. I have to rerun the application because I've changed the code. So let me rerun the application. Okay. Now it should work fine. You can see 201 product created. We can also verify from the database. Let me reload this, reload data. You can see product service here. You can go to the product and you can see your iPhone, your name, your description, and your price is all is coming here. All right. So cool. We have done this. Now we can go and create another endpoint. Now we'll create an endpoint of get all products. So let's not miss this important step, get mapping, and we'll provide public response entity, and we'll provide list of product response. We'll create this in a while and get all products. Okay. So we'll call over here, what we'll call is return new response entity, and we'll call response entity, and what you can do is we can call product service dot get all products, and then we can say http status dot okay. Okay, so let's create the product response first. Let me go again to my DTO class because again this is a data transfer object. I can do this as well. I can put here product as well, but that is not recommended way. The recommended way is always whatever you are sending or whatever request or response you're sending, you should have a separate model for that one. So let me create a product response. And again, I'll just copy this, whatever I've done here. I'll just copy all the annotations from here. And in the product response, what I want is I would want everything. Okay. I would want everything. So let me just copy this here. I will also want the ID as well. So let me write the ID as well. Product ID. Okay, cool. So let me go to the product controller. I can just import this now. I can also import the list, and I can just create this method in my service method. Now over here, I'll be returning the list of product response. Okay. And in this method, what I'll be doing, again, I have to import a list as well. So press import list. I'll be calling my repository layer. So I'll call product repository dot find all. Is there any get all function? No, I can just do find all. And that's pretty much it. But it will throw me the error because it returns the product, not the product response. So what I can do is I can just say product. I can say list of product. I'll have to map into my DTO. So list of product, product list, product list equals to this. And then what I can do is I can map my entire list to my required return type product response. So product list dot map dot stream dot map. And then what I can do is I can just call the method for getting all the products. So what I can do is I can create a new function perhaps. So let me do this map to product response. And what I can do is basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to convert my every product to a product response so that it abides by my return type, right? So I'll create this function, and in this function I'll just once this function is run, I'll just convert this to list. Okay. And finally, I can just return this. Okay. I will create this private method here, and I'll provide the data type, return type as product response over here. Let me also see if this is fine. Okay, this is fine. And here, what I will do is I'll just create return product response dot builder dot product name product dot get name product description product dot get description. I'm just converting this my product object to a product response object. Product name, product description, product price, product dot get price, and finally I'll call the build method so that I can build the object. And that's pretty much it. Now I can go to my controller and I'll see that everything is fine, there are no errors. And what I can do is I can create another entity with iPhone 14 Pro. I can say my description, my product description. I can say it cost $3,000. Let's say, for instance. Let me run this. I can just go to my database. I can reload data, and I'll see that I have two products now. Now I can try to retrieve the products. All right. Let me do that. If I go and change my route, again, it will go on the same route, and I can just okay. Let me see what's the issue in my code here. Get mapping API slash products. I have to rerun the application again because this new code was not available. Now when I run the code, I see product ID is null. Interesting. Product ID is null. Let me see what has happened. Let me see what has happened. So what happened is that because all the tabs, I can go to my controller. When I create a product, okay. I got this point. But let me just fix this real quick. So what I can do is whenever I have an ID, I can say UUID dot random UID dot toString. Okay. So that will help me generate a ID every time my new product is created, a random UID. So let me just drop this database so that I don't have an old code, and let me rerun my application again. Cool. I again create some products. Let me create this product first. I'll create another one. This time it's iPhone X. Okay, let me change my request to post first. It's done. 14 Pro, 3000. This is also done. And then I can finally get my get request and I should be able to see the product. But again, I'm seeing this is null. Interesting. Let me check my product response. Okay. Because I also have to do get ID as well. So dot product ID, product dot get ID. Now when I'll save my code and rerun my application, I think I'll get my ID fine now. All right, let me just rerun it. Cool. Now I'm getting the ID as well, and everything seems to be fine. You can also check the database. Let me refresh it, and here I have two products. So this is one of the services we have created, and later on we'll create more services, and you will see that we'll have different packages. It's like we have product service, we'll have order service, inventory service. Everything will be in our same code base and same repository. So that's pretty much it from it. I hope you like this video, and if you feel that it was something very quick or fast, you can always comment it down, and I can always create a separate video and I can explain about each annotation, how it is done. But since it's going to be a hands-on project, I have to like speed up things. So thank you so much for staying with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.